Hey, folks, in this interview, it's a quick check in with my good friend, Mr. Matthew Jordan Smith. We're going to be talking about what he's been up to over the past several months, including his experiences with a gallery show in Tokyo. This is TWIP. Hey, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Photo. I'm your host, Frederick Van Johnson. Today, I get to chat with one of my heroes in the photography world, Mr. Matthew Jordan Smith. He is one of those guys that is living the life of a photographer that many of us dream about living. He gets to shoot beautiful, famous people. He's extremely talented. He knows his way around a photon or two, and he educates, he speaks, he does all the stuff that one day I hope I can do. So welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very good, man. Good to be here in a big way. It's gotten chilly since I last saw you here in Japan. It now feels like fall. I got up this morning. It's my morning right now, and threw on this turtleneck. Like, oh, it's kind of chilly in the house this morning. So, not used to that.
Bragging.
It's so nice.
It's crazy hot here. I'm in California, Northern California. It's not crazy hot, but in my office right now, it is 76 degrees in here. I got a fan blowing on me. It's not good. It is not good. It's just weird. This area is just weird. It gets cold and it gets hot, and it gets cold, it gets hot, whatever.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, let's jump into it, man. I wanna do a quick check in on where things are. When last we spoke, you were preparing a brand new art form to be unveiled at an art show in Tokyo, and you were all excited about that. Everything was getting ready to get going. You're trying to figure out how the installation was going to go. Fill us in. How did that go? And are you happy with it?
It went very, very well. It happened on September 1st, which is like still, at this point, Japan was kind of locked down. No tourists can come into Japan. Even right now, no tourists can still come in. So it was only people who live here coming to the show. So it wasn't packed the way it would have been in other times, but it still had a lot of great people that came through the show. Show was up for 2 weeks. We had, because it's Japan, they document everything. So we found out people came through the show. There were about 570 people who came through the show over a 2-week period of time. So that was decent. It would have been, 3 times that at least if it had been normal times.
Yeah.
However, what was great about it, it opened the door for other shows and for other opportunities. So I've been in meetings with different companies about those other opportunities. I can't go deeper into discussions about that, but some really exciting things are happening. I've been having meetings even this week dealing with the outcome of that. What's happened from that show. And I have another show that will now take place in Tokyo sometime in 2021. So it's really been really wonderful. I am now working on new pieces to go into the new show. It's just opened up some really interesting possibilities. So I'm really excited about that on both ends.
Yeah.
You say you have a new art form, and people look at you a little funny at first. They come in, they see the work, and they make a judgment call. What was cool about this was that people came in to see the show, and they read my artist statement, which is kind of cool because everybody comes in, they read about the work, then look at the work, and those who really know photography from the past look at the work and say, "Wow, how is this done?" And that question has led to a lot of great meetings, and it's led to hopefully this new show happening in 2021.
Yeah.
The other great thing about it is there are other shows that happen, and there was a big show in Kyoto where I had my exhibit that happens called Kyotography. And that happened 2 weeks after my show closed. That show opened up, and I would love to be in that show next year. Hopefully that will happen. I did meet the people who run Kyotography. They didn't see the show. I met them after it closed. My show closed, but hopefully I now have information to show them more and go from there. So I'll invite them to my show that opens in 2021, because people need to see things versus just hear it. So sometimes if you hear something, you're like, okay, what is that? And you can't tell until you see it. I've had, again, like 5, 6 meetings with this one company, and they want to see the work, themselves. So we had a meeting this week where they actually saw the work, and then they got it. Now we've had like 5 meetings, virtually before, but they hadn't seen any of the work. They saw pictures of the show when it was in Kyoto, but they didn't make it to the show. This week, for the first time ever, they saw the work, and that changed everything. So this is work you must see, tangibly see to get it. So I'm excited about that and how to launch that. So
that is crazy, and that's got to be a challenge, because when you described the work to me, it was, and then I read the artist statement and I saw some photos of it. But as you put it, it's not an art form that you can fully experience and understand in 2 dimensions, right? So you have to kind of be there and move around it and understand how I could kind of extrapolate what was going on, but you kind of, it definitely feels like a piece that you'd have to be there in person with it. And then you do that gallery show where you have a tactile piece like that needs to be seen in person during a social distance pandemic. So exactly. But then you still had a good amount of people coming in to see it. So that's got to be an indication that the work is solid, right? So you're happy with the way the show went?
I'm happy with the show. I just want to have more people see the show and have it in a bigger venue and be able to show it the way I want to show it. So I see it as being like the launch in many ways. The launch of showing the work, which it was, but also the launch of other shows. Hopefully, I can take it to another place. That's what I want to be. Yeah. I'd be glad when I can one day bring it to America and show it, in my homeland. That's what I really want to do. That's definitely a big goal, because I think that would really open doors. Yeah. Being here in Japan is wonderful. I love it in so many ways, but I want to be seen not just here, but in other places around the world, definitely in Europe, definitely in, the States. If you live here, you understand that Japanese people don't put art on the walls in the same way that we do in the West. So that's different. People don't look at photography as being art here. So you don't see people buying photography or photography related work to put on walls. That doesn't happen in this part of the world. However, because of that, to see people have an interest in this work opens doors in other ways. So I'm very excited about that and where this is going to go.
That is interesting. I never thought about that, because when I think of Japan and Tokyo, I think art. I think manga and anime and just explosions of color and cherry blossoms. All that stuff. But on the photography side of it, they're not seeing. You don't think they see photography as strict art? Is it more they more see it as a commodity or?
Yes, yeah. There's definitely that whole thing. There's definitely a different feel about photography and how you display it, and it's not on a wall. You don't see it that way. If you go to almost any Japanese home, you won't see stuff on the walls that way. You will see things like a calendar or what else, but you don't see pictures on a wall the way you see it in America. And that was interesting to see that. Also, if the art galleries, or if the photo galleries, let me just say art galleries, the photo galleries, they're also very, very different. All the photo galleries, for the most part, are owned by camera companies, and it's more pushing a camera than showing work. So that's a little different also. You have all these galleries owned by the different manufacturers, and it's different type of work that you see in those galleries because it's a different point of view. It's about showing what this camera can do versus showing the work. So that's interesting to see that play. So,
the irony of it all. You're living in a city literally where Nikon and Panasonic and Sony and all those guys that make the world's best, most progressive tools for capturing imagery, yet. So that is so interesting. The planet is crazy, Matthew. The planet is
It
just
is. It
completely,
is.
it's completely crazy. So I want to talk a little bit about just sort of your career in general. So you when we talked before, you were saying that you do you did a fair amount of travel back and forth to the U.S. multiple times a year, doing shoots and different gigs with various celebrities and other brands. Has that shifted? I mean, obviously things have changed a little bit, but what does it look like today?
Since it's funny because here we are coming on back on the beginning of the year, coming up in just a few months now. My last trip was January, February, and since that I've been here. So now all my work has been here for this whole year, and it's shifted to the point of doing photo shoots still now, beginning to do photo shoots now. But we'll see how long that lasts as the things start to get a little bit crazy during the winter here. But a lot of it has turned to being things online. So I've done a lot of speaking engagements online. All the big conferences have gone online. So the funny thing about that, I've been in some ways busier because I can now take more speaking assignments since we're doing it virtually than I could in reality. I can't fly to different places so fast and speak, but I can jump on a conference virtually and do one back to back online. And that was this year. It feels like my whole year has been an online virtual situation, but that's been great also. I'm working on new courses and that's really exciting. So I'm doing a lot of shooting for that. Meeting new people, meeting new models, meeting new agencies. And because I had the time to be here without traveling, that too has opened a lot of really interesting doors. As weird as this year has been, it's been good in a lot of ways. So I'm really happy about the spin and how I was able to change things around here in Japan and start working more here. And that's been good.
And that's good. If there's one silver lining to all this craziness with the pandemic coronavirus, it's that the forced online presence, right? And the fact that people have been forced from both sides. It's not like, oh, I broke my leg, I can't go anywhere, so you're trapped at home and you're trying to do everything from home. The entire world is in the same situation, which means
the entire world.
Yeah, so everybody has to adjust, and I think that from my perspective, you tell me if you think it's true, has opened up a lot of avenues, just like this, like being able to do more virtually, and then hopefully when this pandemic is eradicated and everything kind of goes back to some semblance of normalcy, then I'm hopeful that what we've learned with the virtual stuff will stick around, so you can have kind of the best of both worlds. You'll travel and then do some stuff virtually, and travel and then do you can have it all. I think
what happened because some people are discovering that they're having more success virtually than they had in the real world. Some of these conferences, like the Eddie Adams workshop, which I did this year also, it was very successful, and in some ways I liked it better. Now we couldn't be there in person. Being there in person is absolutely amazing. But this year, there was, in some ways, more connection because you could do it virtually. And also, there are people who were shooting from all over the world, where before it was hard getting visas for some students to come in to the States to get there to the workshop. This year, that wasn't an issue. So it made it more international in a really amazing way. For those who don't know, the Eddie Adams Workshop is this really prestigious workshop. It's all sponsored. They bring in 100 of the top photography students from around the world to give a really intensive workshop. But it's not like the average workshop. It's more the top editors, top photographers, top producers, dividing students into teams and giving them an assignment. They all shoot an assignment. They're critiqued on the work that they shoot. They're sent out again to shoot again for a second time. And then there are awards that are given out at the end, like, assignments for the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, just really great assignments that are given out that really create careers. And this year it was done all online, and it was absolutely amazing.
Oh, I wish I had gone to that. I remember I had the opportunity to go to the Eddie Adams workshop one time when I was I was working at Adobe. I was a senior marketing manager over there, and Adobe had sponsored the event, and I got to go, as the corporate guy, and of course I just wanted to go. Period. But I remember it was everything you describe. It was a life-changing sort of total immersion into photography and focusing on things, and you're surrounded by people that are excited, and people there that can inspire and instruct you at the same time, and it was electric. That was the way I describe it. It was very electric.
Yeah.
I'm happy that translated to online, because it's I've done a lot of speaking at conferences as well over the past year, virtual conferences, and it's a fine line between being enthusiastic and informational and crickets in a Zoom grid, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. It's done so well. Done so well. I did last year and this year. Last year in person, of course, and that experience in person was incredible. This year was different and maybe better in some ways, for sure.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, so what's next? What's next? So we got, 2021, you got another gallery show that you're working on. Are you you shooting, around Tokyo? What's happening?
I am. I shot.
I'm trying to live vicariously through you, man.
I had a great shoot yesterday, actually. Done 2 in the past week. So I have one coming up on Monday, a job for a client. Hopefully the weather holds out because we're shooting on location. As a matter of fact, the last 2 jobs have been on location. So yesterday was on location shooting. This past weekend we were on location shooting, and Monday we'll be on location shooting before winter kicks in. I guess everybody wants to get out the stuff and shoot on location. Yeah. But yesterday was fantastic because we were shooting a model who is visually she looks like a black model. She's a black model, but born in Japan. Only speaks Japanese, and we shot her in a kimono, but we had her hair done in like a very ethnic sense. We had cornrows done in her hair, and it was just visually beautiful and very different. There's one point we were shooting, and these kids walked by, and the kids said, "Oh, I've never seen that before," and they're speaking in Japanese, and then the model says something to them saying like, "Oh, I'm Japanese," and they were shocked, that she was speaking in Japanese back to them, and that she was Japanese. And it was just a very interesting day, but visually incredible. We had some incredible moments shooting yesterday, and I'm really excited about that. I'll be editing that today and getting it in this afternoon sometime. But it's a good day.
I got so many questions. So is that, it's just, I know we have to wrap up, so I'll be quick. So with on a shoot like that, was that a full sort of, makeup artist and stylist and a photographer and assistants and
full day.
Full Monty,
huh? Yeah, wow. Because the hair was so intensive. The hair was done the day before the shoot. Then the hairstylist is on the shoot. Then we're dressing it in a kimono, which for those who may not know, is like a 2-hour ordeal to dress in a full kimono. And there are different versions of kimonos. And the one we were shooting yesterday is called a fusode. And the fusode is for women, girls who are not married. Like, if you graduate from high school, that first pictures of them in a fusode, and they're all over on that graduation day. I guess it's a day where they all dress up, and it's beautiful. And because they're young, they can change it and put different spins on it. But it's a very elaborate kimono, and because of that, it takes more time to get dressed. So it's like 2 hours just to dress her in the kimono. Then there's makeup. Then there's tweaking the hair, and then we go out and shoot on location. So it was a very full day, crew, hair, makeup, assistant, the whole 9 yards. So it was fun.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. And then you bring it back, and you're doing your own editing on those, or are you doing the selects and then you send them off to an editor?
Selects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, selects. So I went my first pass last night, second pass today, and then I'll make the final selections and send it off to the editor.
Oh, excuse me. We have to. I'm choked up. We have to. we have to change lives. We got to do like a swap, So I would be in your shoes for a full week and see how that goes, and then you could be the boring sort of podcaster for a week, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Well, man, congratulations.
It was fun.
Yeah, congratulations on everything. Like I said, you are very inspirational. I love everything you're doing. Always upbeat, always positive, and always leaning forward versus leaning back, which is, I think,
You have to. Like, I did this other course recently. I did a course for On One on natural light photography. I'm known for using light, for really taking pictures in the studio, for finessing light. That's been my career. Light's made my career. But I was asked to do a course on natural light because there are a lot of people in the world who shoot pictures without any light. A lot of people who are working doing landscape photography who may want to go into starting to shoot portraits better, but want to understand natural light. So I did a course just on that. So I went to all these great locations all over Kyoto and locations all over Tokyo and put together a course on just natural light. And that course is being sold through On One. Oh. And it's really exciting. So, I had so much fun doing that because you can go to places like Kyoto now, which are normally packed with tourists, and there are no tourists. Oh. So it gave me the opportunity to make this amazing course in a place where it's normally packed with people and there are no people. So I can shoot these great, amazing locations and do a course, shoot videos for the course and put this great piece of work together that I could never have done before. So that was fun. That just happened and it just came out last week.
I love that. All right. I have a favor to ask of you. So there's been this ongoing debate in my community, the TWIP Pro community, about light meters, because I am a proponent of light meters. I think they are an invaluable tool to the photographer because they measure light, which is what photography is, right? I remember sitting through your keynote speech or your presentation at the Sue Bryce that event in Arizona, and it was all about your secret weapon, and that was the light meter. Can you send a message right now? Just like tell me, your thoughts on light meters and using light meters versus not using light meters. What's your perspective on the light meter?
I feel like it is an invaluable tool the same way your camera, your lens is part of your tools for creating work. You can't guess at this work. You can't. People say, oh, I really understand light. I can look at it and know what it is. BS. You can get a sense where it's around, but being around, you might as well just use your smartphone. That's how I feel. I use a meter for everything. We're shooting video, we're shooting stills, and I want to be exact. So we're shooting video yesterday, and we're shooting in slow motion. So we're shooting at not very slow, but it's slightly slow because it's fashion beauty. So we're shooting at 60 frames per second. So we have a meter to measure exactly what that is. We have a meter to measure exactly what the natural light is as it's changing and going up and down. I never want to guess because guessing doesn't get you to the place where you can charge what you want because anybody can guess. When you are exact, people know you know exactly what you're doing. And it makes a huge difference. I would never, ever go out and shoot without a light meter.
Love it. That's perfect. I'm going to take that clip out and send it to That's perfect. All right. Matthew, if people want to see some of the work that you're working on, either whether it's the upcoming show or the show that you just had, or just some of the stuff that you've talked about, some of the shoots that you're working on now, is there a place where people can go to kind of see what's going on?
Instagram is where I guess it's like my voice that shows everything that's going on, like, now and what in the past and what I'm about to launch. Probably Instagram. I don't put the artwork up on my site. Number one, because I don't think it fits. You can't get it on any 2D device. However, I will share different things on Instagram about the shows, different video things and that nature. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. All right. Instagram it is. And I'll link to those in the blog post for this episode, as well as in the YouTube video, so people can easily get over to that. Man, thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Like, Matthew Jordan Smith is the icon in the industry, as when you guys go to his website or his Instagram, you'll see what I mean. He knows what he's talking about. And the man likes light meters. So you're okay in my book. All right, man.
I'm
you
a
take care,
man, in a major way. Thank you.
That's right. We both are. Yeah. Thank you. And you be safe out there. We'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, man.
This is TWIP.